Welcome back, folks, and we got markets right near session highs right now. As I speak, NASDAQ 100 up 288 points. S&P's up 65, and right now, folks, we're going to jump over to our man Tim Ord. We talk to Tim every Tuesday and Thursday at 3:30 Eastern Time. You can check out Tim's website every day at ord-oracle.com. Check that out. And then he has a couple of great webinars, folks, under the Services tab. Six secret ratios every trader should know. Tim and I talk about some of these ratios occasionally. And then the secret science of market tops, how to identify market tops. Check those out as well. Tim Ord, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So let's take a look at what's going on in the market. This is a summer doldrums. It's actually not too dull here. But the first chart is the SPY, just the daily chart. And I listed all the ticks and trend readings over the last, just the last couple of weeks. And they're all coming in, around this area right here, which is 640, 630, in that vicinity. And, getting back to the ticks and trend, a trend close above 1.2 is bullish. The reason why, it shows panic in the market. Panic only forms at bottoms. And downtick readings on the close below, actually over the last couple of years, about anything below minus 200 shows panic. And again, panic only forms at lows. So I listed all those trend and tick closes here over the last, a couple of weeks. And anyhow, this is support area. Even though the market rallied into that, so usually you go down into panic. Here we got markets going sideways. You got panic in there. And the last time that happened, that's the reason why I shaded this tan here. We had kind of a similar situation back here in the June time frame. We got a lot of panic, and finally the market broke out. And now we're starting to get panic again. And today, this is today right there. There's a volume right there. We're testing. This is July 31st right here. And we're testing that high. And normally, to break through a previous high, you should have at least equal volume. If it's a lot less, 10% or less, it's usually that previous high will be resistance. And when the volume came in a little over like 100 million, and we're not going to reach that today at all. We're coming in right now around 50 million. We got a half hour to go thereabouts. So we're not even going to be close to the previous highest volume. So I'm thinking this is not a short. I thought at one point we'll be short, but since we already got panic in this vicinity, which is basically that shaded area, that's going to be support. We may break a little bit below it, but in this vicinity is a bottom. What day is the bottom? I don't think today is the breakout to the upside, just because we don't have the volume to do it. So we may hesitate in here a little bit longer and build a little bit, maybe longer base, then break out to the upside. So I'm neutral right now. I thought at one point I'd end up with a sell signal. That's not going to be the case, since we got panic. We got too much panic. 10-day trend of yesterday's close came in at 1.17. And that's, if it's round one, that's fine for a short. But if you get close to around 1.2, normally they don't work out so well. Not all cases. But anyhow, my point is, we're at a support area in this vicinity. It's getting kind of messy. I'm drawing all these lines in here.
We're following. I like it, totally.
Yeah, so anyhow, this is not the place to short. So I'm kind of looking long. If you look at the bottom here at the VIX, the VIX is almost hitting a new low. Anything below minus 17, usually you get a trending market. So we got a little bit of chop in here. If this was September, I'd probably be long. But since this is July, August time frame, this period is not ideal for get long and stay long type markets. You get curveballs thrown in this time frame. So I'm kind of being careful, but it looks bullish. Let's flip to the weekly chart real quick.
And I think that's the lowest VIX, right? I was looking at it this morning. I was jumping in. I think that's the lowest VIX we got since the beginning of the year. It's at 1492 no matter what, but it is remarkable that you're talking about even, it's August. I can't find, we were close in the 14s, but yeah, you talk about a low VIX. I agree. Please go ahead, but yeah.
Yeah. So, this is, This is July. We're pretty much down where the July low was, and actually you got a top in here. So the statistics during this time frame are just garbage. I just from basically June until September, it's just a hard time to trade. You get things going back and forth. The best time to trade, in my opinion, is September through all the way into basically the next June again, because you get pretty much trending markets. But this time you get choppy markets. So anyhow, I'm neutral right now. I'm bullish. I'm hoping we get a pullback. The volume says we will. The VIX says there's really no top of any consequence here. So I don't know how big the pullback will be. I thought we might get back to the low of August 1st, which is this low right here, and that still may happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. If that doesn't happen, we're still here. I'll probably be long. But here's the weekly chart. You can see we're testing the weekly high of, this is July, the week of July 28th right there. And you can see where the volume is. And so this is a week, or is this, this is a weekly. So we got a long ways for the week's out. This is only Tuesday. But my opinion, you're not going to get back down to 610. You're going to get back down to the low of the week of July. I think it was July 26th or 28th, one of those 2 days. But anyhow, the end of July. And that's the worst you're going to do. So you look like about 620 is about the worst you're going to do on this pullback. So I'm bullish. I don't quite have a signal here. I got panic in the ticks and trend. Volume's not quite running up. The VIX is fine. I had some other indicators that actually were bearish, actually flipped back to at least neutral. So there's, let the trend be your friend. Here's the panic thing going on. This is a 10-day trend. 1.17 yesterday. It's probably going to be higher today. The 5-day is not as fair. It's 1.1. The 2-day is bullish. The 3-day is 1.1. The most important is the 10-day, because that's 2 weeks of market closes, I guess. So that's the most important day, and it's up 1.7. So that's leans bullish. So a little bit of patience here. I want to get long since we're testing previous high of July 31st and a much lighter volume. I'm thinking that's going to hold as resistance. Seasonality right now is at best neutral. So I'm kind of sitting on my hands waiting for a minor pullback, but not a major pullback.
All right. And can we talk a little bit of gold after the break? Does that work? What do we got coming up? Gold?
Yep, gold.
All right, folks. We're going to talk a little gold. We got some volatility in that gold market. We got markets up by more than 1% right now. We're coming back with Tim. Don't go away, folks. Welcome back, folks. We're talking to our man Tim Ord, and we got markets in positive territory, and we jump over to gold. Gold contract right now, Tim. We got gold down $5 at $33.99. Let's talk a little bit of gold, Tim.
All right, let's take a look at the GDX GLD ratio, which is basically the gold stocks against gold itself. And anyhow, this ratio goes back to 2021, and I put an RSI to it. So this GDX GLD ratio kind of goes back and forth. And anyhow, when gold stocks are outperforming gold, that's usually bullish. And if you can kind of see it there, these rallies, that's when gold and gold stock, when this ratio rallies, I mean, gold, GDX, gold stocks are outperforming gold, and that's what happens in uptrends. But when it gets too exuberant, I guess you might say, when RSI of that ratio gets above, actually 68 works pretty well, but we're at 74 right now, 73.78. So I'm looking for, I thought one point we may go down to 40. I don't think that's the case anymore. Gold here is kind of just going sideways. You can see this big rally we had here over the last week or two, or last week and a half, I guess you might say. It really gone up. You can see how steep that rally was on the ratio, and that pushed the RSI over 74. And I marked it with red lines all across the chart when the RSI got above 68. And all of them came at least short-term lows. Some were, those are minor pullbacks. This one is kind of decent pullback. Sometimes they don't last very long at all. This one back here looks, I can't quite tell. This one's a real short one. So I'm looking for a pullback, not to 40 anymore, probably the previous highs, which is around 54. Actually, we'll skip to this one. This is the reason why. We actually had a sign of strength. Sign of strength is basically big volume, big push up. It kind of went parabolic. A lot of times parabolic moves don't last because it's just gone up too quick. But one basically went from 50 to 50, looks like about 59 in a short period, about 5-6 days. And so that went parabolic, but you had a sign of strength through a previous high. The previous high is around 54. Anyhow, that's where that line is, and that's where sport's probably going to be. I had this, the bottom one was the 18-day average up-down volume, and the previous times, we had a big divergence going into the high of April, which I got out of the market, and the market did retrace for a month and a half, or about a month, whatever, then kind of build a base, and now we finally broke out to the upside. And this one, up-down volume 18-day average now, is, we actually made a minor higher high, so that actually flipped to bullish. The advanced decline so far is still a negative divergence, but that tells me we're probably not going to break down below we had a sign of strength through the previous highs. I think now the previous high is going to be support. So I'm actually short here around 55. I'm planning on covering on this next pullback because the divergence just went away. So you don't want to really fight the market, and so I'm not. I do think we're probably going to do. This is the monthly XAU. It's actually 70. It's almost 76, and I marked the times in the past. I still think we're going to have a consolidation at some point, but we're matching the previous highs of 2011 up here on the XAU. And we got an RSI above 75. Not an ideal situation that the market's going to continue higher. So I do think we're going to hesitate here. This gets back to this part here. So I'm thinking we're at some sort of a high, but we're not going to have any major damage. We're probably just going to pull back to the previous highs, hold around here, and probably create a trading range and build a sideways trading range that the market just may bounce around in. And getting back to this chart. So I'm thinking what we're going to do here is actually move sideways, build cause to break above that line. So I'm thinking we're hitting resistance. We're not really going to pull back much because GDX has got support around 54. So I thought at one point we may pull back, maybe at worst 200, but I'm thinking we're going to stay close to this breakout area, somewhere in this vicinity. And we're not going to go down much, but I think we are going to quit going up. We're just not going to go down much. So I think we're due, if you look at this run we had from last August to the current August, we went straight up. And we're due for some sort of one of these here somewhere. And so, we'll build cause, build strength to build through to break through this high. So I think the bull market's still alive. I think we got a lot further to go, but I think over the next several months or next couple of months, I don't know how long this consolidation could last. Some lasted a while, just, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I'm thinking we could build here, but what's going to happen? We're going to have a rotation. If you look at all the, the major gold and actually silver stocks, if you look on a weekly chart or even a monthly chart, a lot of them are above the upper outer Bollinger Band. And a lot of times you consolidate. So the big ones are probably, my opinion, are going to consolidate here. And I've kind of been saying that for a while. And I think that's still going to happen. They're just not going to perform. And the small ones, if you look at a lot of these small ones, the mid Bollinger Band on the monthly charts are all turning up, and you got volume behind it. And they haven't really started running yet. They're off from their lows, but not in a big way. So I'm thinking it's going to be a big speculative market. So do you want to be short? No. I am short, but that was stupid. At the time, I thought it was smart, but it turned out to be a stupid trade. But I'm planning on covering my short. hopefully around 54. I think that's, maybe I get lucky, maybe 53, but I'm not going to make a whole lot of money on this short position. And so I'll probably stand aside, and maybe is it time to go long? It's never been a good idea to go long when the XAU is above 75 on the monthly chart. But I will be long on the small ones, which I have quite a few of, and I'll probably add to those positions. I've been pretty much took out of my positions on the bigger ones and flip into the smaller ones, and I think I'll probably continue that. And once the big ones start to consolidate, I'll probably look back at those. But I don't think this is a top of major consequence. I think this is just a top that breaks sideways. And a lot of times you either get consolidation at major highs right below the highs, or if you break through them, you get consolidation right after the highs. So I'm thinking we're at the highs with the RSI. I think we'll be in this trading range. I don't know, 610 to 630 area for the next several months, and we're not going to pull away from it too much. I don't think we're going to go down here. I think we just go sideways. So that view may change as the statistics come in, but we're at some sort of a resistance here, but I don't think there's a top of any consequence. I'll put it that way.
I appreciate the great breakdown, man. Some great analysis, and I agree with a lot of the take. I do. It's been quite a run for those gold equities, man. And, it's like the simplest thing. Not everything goes up forever or down forever, folks. And right now, it seems like, and you said from August, and boy, that was like on the heels of another run it had, though, right? Starting in February of last year.
Yeah.
And I'm looking today, you have the dollar driving lower, and the gold still not kind of catching a bid. So facing a little bit of resistance. Tim, thank you so much. We appreciate it, man. We look forward to talking to you on Thursday. Have a great couple days. We'll talk to you then.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you then.
My pleasure as always.